Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this Saturday morning yoga class. Today, we're actually going to begin our sequence lying down for just a different look at the standing flow that we've been doing recently. So join me lying down on your back, maybe taking the feet quite wide to begin with, and releasing the arms away from the body. If you wish to, you can take a full Shavasana here. That's no problem at all. You can start however it feels good for you. Sometimes bent knees and feet on the floor is a little bit more supportive first thing in our practice when perhaps the back is a little unsettled. So close your eyes or gaze at one point above you. And take this moment to step into your yoga space. Leave behind the things to do list, the plans for the rest of the day, the challenges of the previous week or so. And come into this time and this place. And as you do, notice if you automatically begin to soften your shoulders, your jaw, your face. If your breath slows a little, deepens a little, as you feel the tension of normal life just melting away for this yoga time. Observe how your body's feeling right now. Notice any of the big sensations in the body. Any areas that you perhaps need to take a little care with or be more aware of today as we practice. Notice also one really quiet, peaceful place in the body. At least one, maybe you have many. And then noticing the breath that you're breathing right now. And when you're ready, you can deepen your breath. As you exhale, just gently engaging across the navel to exhale more fully. And then breathing really deeply into the sides of the body, the back and the chest. Breathing out slowly, deeply, and completely with that little effort across the abdomen. Breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing out fully, slowly, completely. Carry on in this rhythm. See if you can soften a little bit more tension from the body, from the face, from the jaw. This practice at the beginning of our class is very grounding. It helps us to energetically build that stable foundation for the rest of our practice. So whenever you're ready, moving into movement. So we're going to sway the nose from side to side gently. It doesn't have to get anywhere in particular, just beginning to loosen off the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees in towards you, taking hold of the knees to begin with, just making nice circles with the knees quite wide apart, if that feels okay to you. And we're going to go in the opposite direction as well. And then floating the feet to the floor one at a time, relaxing the arms wide, and a gentle sway of the knees from side to side. So again, not trying to get anywhere in particular. I'm going to come back to all of these movements and do a fuller range of movement. When you're ready, you can bring the knees back to the center, draw the elbows down to the sides, and instead of doing a bridge pose here, we're just going to focus on the engagement. So engaging the backs of the arms, the shoulders, the shoulder blades down. See if you can lift your chest doing that. Just a little, creating perhaps a small hollow between the shoulder blades. Gently lengthen the back of the head towards the floor and press the heels of the feet, maybe the balls of the feet into the floor as well. You can lift the toes if it helps. Firm your belly, firm your pelvic floor, and see if you can hover your back maybe ½ centimeter off the floor. Hover the buttocks and gently release down. Okay, so we're going to come back to bending the knees into the chest. This time we're going to leave the hands away from the knees nice and wide, and use our tummy muscles to support our movement. Tummy muscles, hip flexors, supporting this rotation of the knees around in space. And we'll go the opposite way again. Just trying to awaken that deeper stability in the body that we get from the muscles that are underneath our superficial muscles. Bringing the knees back to center and then just stirring the knees. So letting the legs go in different directions, extending a little bit through one leg and then the other perhaps. This becomes more challenging the longer your legs are extended and the closer your heels come to the floor. But at this stage in the class, it's probably better to keep it less challenging and more nurturing, more mobilizing. Let's go in the opposite direction as well. Imagine yourself as one of those crazy kids you sometimes see, just rolling around on the floor. Sorry, please excuse me. And feel free to laugh at home as well. Okay, and then we're going to gather the knees into the chest and float the feet down to the floor again, one at a time if you like. And then waving the knees from side to side. The feet are quite wide here, and that's okay. Just noticing, so I notice I've got a little niggle at the back of my right hip. Noticing anything like that you perhaps want to take a little bit of care of during the class. Notice also the engagement across the abdominal muscles as you go a little deeper into these twists. Next time your knees come down to the left, just resting them there for a moment. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then back up to center, over to the other side, resting them down on the right for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Coming back to the center, adjusting your feet if you want to for bridge pose, bringing the elbows down to the sides of the body, pressing back into the mat with the backs of the arms, the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and gently engaging the back of the head. And now pressing into the feet, lifting the hips up, chest towards the chin, and then gently releasing down. So keeping that engagement of the upper body really firm, and thinking about the buttocks a little bit. If you want to here, engaging your belly muscles as well, you can, but we want to avoid gripping any one part of the body. So observing a balance of that support through the structures behind the body. So we don't have to overuse any one area. Next time you come up to a bridge pose, circling your hips, hula hooping the hips around as you maintain that gentle pressure into the back of the head and firmer pressure into the backs of the arms and shoulders. And going the opposite way as well. One more in this direction. And then when you're ready, just gently releasing the hips down. And here again, a wave of the nose from side to side, just to release any tension from the back of the neck. We're going to gather our knees in towards us and rock all the way up into standing. But so we're going to build some momentum first. So rocking backwards and forwards, balancing if you want to on your sit bones, rocking from sit bones to shoulder blades, massaging down the length of the spine. And whenever you're ready, popping up to standing. And if it doesn't happen automatically, that's fine. Just go through sitting. All good, guys. So we're going to do a sort of modified classic sun salutation as our limbering, further limbering today. So for this one, we're going to start with the feet nice and wide, almost mat width apart, and bring the hands to the center of the chest in Namaste. Take a moment for your body to just find its upright orientation. And then we can begin our sun salutation. So we're going to release the arms down to the sides, and then inhale, reach the hands up over the head. And as you exhale, bring the palms together, soften the knees and fold into a forward bend. As it's the first forward bend of the day, we're going to hold it for a moment, soft in the knees, and you can choose what you do here. If it's helpful, you can sway the hips from side to side as you bend one knee a little deeper and then the other, or you can hold elbow to elbow or the backs of the hands to the floor and sway the upper body, keeping the legs a little bit more steady, or a combination of both, or something else that feels really useful. So the idea is to just provide a little traction on the low back. Weight not just into the toes, but into the heels as well. And then when you're ready, coming to the center, placing your hands down on the floor, bending the knees as much as you need to, stepping your right foot back, but stepping it towards the center of the mat rather than to the right side of the mat, and release your right foot down, and then right knee down, sorry, and then here we're going to circle our hips, hula hooping here. So a little circling in one direction, and then we're going to change to circle in the opposite direction as well. Just noticing, I find that I focus more on circling the front thigh in one direction and the back thigh on the other, but it's all good. From here, we're going to come to center, lengthen the back leg, press into the hands and step the front leg back so we take a plank pose. And from plank pose, knees down, chest and chin or forehead down, and then pointing the toes, pressing the pubic bone down, pressing into the hands to open the chest into a low cobra, elbows very, very bent, and shoulders, plenty of space between them and the ears. From here, we're going to press onto hands and knees and take the buttocks back to the heels, widening the hands if necessary for our first waving vinyasa, which we're taking from the knees. So pressing forward, rounding through the spine, knees are on the floor, opening the chest, almost feel like you're dragging the hands back, maybe a little sway of the chest from side to side if you want to, and then really firm in the arms, the buttocks, the belly muscles, coming back into that kind of crouching dog position. From here up into downward facing dog, uncurling the legs, downward facing dog, and you might want to just bring your hands a little closer towards each other, paddling through the backs of the legs, a little undulation perhaps through the shoulders as well. When you're ready, you can bounce yourself forward off your knees if you like to. We've done this before in the past, little firmness in the belly, and when you're ready, stepping the right foot forward, right to the outside of the right side of the mat, and the left knee comes down, and we're hula hooping the hips on this side as well. So it's a nice way to work through the limbering poses that we've done. Let's reverse that motion in our other classes, but to incorporate them into that sun salutation as well. And then from here, we're gently going to lengthen the back leg and step that back foot forward so the feet are nice and wide. In that wide leg forward bend again, maybe a little sway either with the knees or the upper body or both, perhaps doing something different from what you did on the way down. And then in the center, bending your knees deeply, relaxing the back of the neck and rolling up to standing. And as you do, taking the arms over the head to bring the palms together, and then folding back into your forward bend, nice, soft in the knees. Hands between the feet, stepping the left foot back towards the center of the mat. And this time, we're just going to go backwards and forwards. So not hula hooping, just backwards and forwards. Flirting with the hamstring on the front leg, the hip flexor on the back leg. You can keep the toes down sometimes, and you can lift the toes other times. Doing at least 4 of these, and then hands to the floor, extending the back leg and coming into plank pose. You might want to widen your hands as you come into plank. And then we're going to exhale, knees, chest and chin or forehead to the floor. Point your toes, draw your shoulder blades towards each other, press into the feet and the pubic bone to open the chest, maybe coming a touch higher this time. And then pressing from here back into that crouching dog pose. So the knees are tucked under, buttocks towards the heels, and one waving vinyasa. Press off the toes, rounding through the spine. Knees are still down, opening the chest, and this time keeping the elbows really nice and bent. A little twist perhaps through the upper body. Coming back to the center, pressing all the way back to that crouching dog, and then uncurling into downward facing dog. Giving ourselves a little bit of a paddle here. Keeping the feet towards the center of the mat. We're going to bring our hands a little closer together so we've got room to step forward with our left foot. So if you want to bounce a few times, you can bounce a few times and then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand, right knee down, and it's just swinging the hips backwards and forwards. Obviously with great control. Leaving the toes down sometimes, allowing the toes to come up sometimes, doing at least 4, and then we're going to untuck the back leg and just step the back foot forward. We've got wide legs at the moment, which we're going to just inch towards each other until we come to about standing hip width apart. And in this different position of the feet, give yourself another little sway in your forward bend. Soft in the knees as much as you need to, maybe even a gentle turn of the head from side to side, nod and a shake. When you're ready, bending the knees deeply, rounding through the spine to come upright, taking the arms up over the head and bringing the palms together. We'll come back down into a forward bend. So it doesn't matter how you get into that forward bend. We're going to step back the right foot. So the legs are much more in line now with hip distance apart. We're not going to float that knee all the way to the floor, but almost, and then extend through the back leg and gently bring the knee towards the floor, but not quite. Extend through the back leg. So elastic lunges, up and down. A little firmness in that back buttock perhaps, and in the belly muscles. And then next time you extend your legs, hands on the floor, come into plank pose. From plank pose, knees, chest, forehead or chin, point the toes. Let's take the hands really wide this time. Come into a cobra, and we're going to circle our chests in a cobra. So like a hula hoop with the chest, go in the opposite direction as well. I would encourage you to do just one direction on each round, but then I'd forget which way round we'd done it. So best to do both. Come back down to the mat, forehead to the floor, hands underneath the shoulders to come back into that crouching puppy dog. But this time, if you want to do a full waving vinyasa, just peel yourself into a downward facing dog, or stick with the knees on the floor if you prefer. Waving vinyasa from here, dropping the heels, pressing off the toes, opening the chest into your up dog, pulling the elbows back, and then either rounding through the spine, hips to heels, or through plank pose. You're in your down dog again. little paddle of the dog. And this time we're going to lift the right leg up, make a little bounce on the left leg, and step that right foot forward to the hands, elastic lunge on the left leg. So knee almost to the mat and then pressing back into the heel to almost extend that left leg straight. A little firmness in the belly and the buttocks, just bobbing up and down. Very nice. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, just pressing off that left foot to stand into your forward bend. Take a moment in your forward bend. Do anything with your neck that feels nice. Firm belly, soft knees, roll up, pressing into the feet. Reach the arms over the head, looking up. And then soft knees to fold back into your forward bend. Very nice. From your forward bend, stepping your left foot back. Take your left knee down to the mat. Left hand stays down. And then turn to the right and make a big sweeping circle with your right arm. We're going to do 2 more like that. Firm belly, firm buttocks. Very good. 1 more. Nice sweeping circle. Very nice. Placing the hands down, stepping the right foot back so you're in plank pose. From plank pose, knees, chest, forehead or chin to the floor. Point your toes, nice wide arms, and this time firming the belly and the feet into the floor, not the belly into the floor, firming the belly up. Coming into a high cobra, and we're just going to press up and down 3 or 4 times, trying to feel that real stability in the back of the body. Buttocks particularly working, feet pressing down into the floor. Maybe 1 more time up and down. Hands back underneath the shoulders, forehead to the floor. Press through hands and knees. Drop your bottom towards your heels in the puppy dog. And if you want to, peel yourself up for your waving vinyasa. So from either hands and knees or downward facing dog, pressing forward, opening the chest. And this time in your up dog, just make sure your arms, and your knees are nice and soft. Do a little sway backwards and forwards, or side to side, or around in circles, whatever you like. And then bending the knees or going through plank, back to downward facing dog. Bring your feet towards each other. Paddle through your dog if you need to. When you're ready, lifting your left leg up, bending the right knee and just bouncing a little bit on that right knee. And when you're ready, stepping the left foot forward, bring the right knee down, leave the right hand on the floor and turn to the left, making big sweeping circles with the left hand. Firm in the belly and the buttocks. And then turning to the front, freeing your back knee so you can press forward to come into standing. And take a moment in your standing pose, perhaps here, taking the arms behind the body, interlacing the fingers, rolling the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthening through the arms. Soften the knees as much as you need to. Relax the back of the neck, nodding or turning. 1 more deep breath in and out. And then when you're ready, you can relax the arms down to the feet. Bend the knees deeply, drop the weight into the heels, press into the feet, rounding through the spine to come up to standing. Reach the arms over the head. We are going to pause here, drawing the hands to the center of the chest and standing in Tadasana. Take a few moments here. Just allow your body to absorb the effect of that limbering process. Adjust clothing as you need to. Take the time to relax your arms, wiggle your shoulders, swallow, do whatever feels good. Okay, smashing stuff. So this is where we're going to start our standing flow for today. And I'm going to start at this end of the mat so I can step back with my right foot. And it will always be, if wherever your right foot is stepping back, it will always be that right side of the mat that we turn towards. So we're going to go from one end of the mat to the other. I just find it easier to do that if I know where I need to set up my camera, screen. So if you, before we do that, let's just do one set of figure of eights with our hips. So taking your weight onto your right foot first, affirming that standing leg, buttock and thigh, but making your knee a little bit soft so you've got some bounce. Bending the left knee up and just making a figure of eight with the left knee across the body and behind the body. Use your arms for support. Use a point of focus that's not moving ahead of you. And really feel the stability of the standing leg, the adjustments you're making. That's very good. We'll do two more in this direction. And then bringing the feet towards each other, just taking a moment, observing the difference between the two sides. Then weight onto your left foot, making that standing leg a little bit pliable, a little bit buoyant, firm in the buttock and thigh, and then making figure of eights with your right knee. Using whatever you need for support. If you need to hold onto a wall or a chair, that's absolutely fine too. But you'll notice that the more you do of this, the easier it becomes. Practice, and then there's some days where it just doesn't work, that's okay. We'll do just one in this direction. Woohoo! Floating the feet back together, and then giving yourself a little bit of a wiggle in the shoulders or in the hips, whatever feels good. We're just going to shake out our arms as well, wrists, and then we're ready for our standing sequence. So I know I said we'd do a ladder vinyasa, but I'm going to do that as part of a video instead. Today we're going to concentrate on the flow that we have been working on. So starting in your Tadasana alignment, turning the palms forward, relaxing the shoulder blades down a little bit. What we're really trying to do is broaden that space across the top of the shoulders and extend the space between the top of the shoulders and the ears. Engage gently through the belly, gently through the buttocks. Feel the feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then as you breathe in, reaching the arms forward and up, opening your chest and bringing the hands together, bend the knees, soften into a forward bend. Here, if you want to, just this first round, reaching the arms behind you, interlacing the fingers, Asana, double angle pose for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Soften the hands, bend the knees deeply, let the fingertips graze the mat as you sit deeply into chair pose. And just on this first round, we're going to bounce our chair. So gently extend the legs a little and then drop the hips towards the heels. Extend the legs a little. Slow motion bouncing. Keeping the shoulder blades working to lift the arms, keeping the belly lifted. And just powering up those legs. And then the next time you come into your chair squat, take your weight onto your left foot, lift the heel of the right foot, and step your right foot as far back as feels comfortable. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then power through that left leg, press into the right heel to come into an upright lunge for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we're going to square our hips towards the long side of the mat so that the right heel comes to the floor and the legs are both long. We're ready for our twisting cartwheeling. So hopefully you know what that means. Certainly the guys here at live class do. So reaching your arms wide, we're going to bend the left knee, come onto the ball of the right foot, press the right palm across the body, reach the left hand behind us, and then spiral through the arms, cartwheel through the arms, back to goddess squat. And in the goddess squat, just shifting your weight from one foot to the other. So it doesn't matter if you do this with the feet flat or with the toes coming up or with the heels coming up, whatever feels good. Then we're going to lengthen the legs, turn the feet to the left, long arms, long legs, for two more. So bending the left knee onto the ball of the right foot, press the right hand across the body, reach the left hand behind, really firm in the legs, cartwheeling the arms back to the center and taking a goddess, just shifting the weight. And that's so we begin to be able to shift the weight much more easily. We get really pliable in this posture, and then turning the feet towards the left again, reaching the arms wide last time, bending the left knee, coming onto the ball of the right foot, press the right hand across the body, and cartwheeling the arms back to the center, coming into your goddess squat. So for our last goddess, we're going to reach the arms wide, take the left arm over the right arm, and hold onto the shoulders for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then if you want to, backs of the hands or palms of the hands together, or keep holding the shoulders, and we're just going to make a single circle in each direction. Very nice. Release the arms. Turn the left heel out to the left so that leg is long. Turn the right toes just a little bit more to the right so you end up in lovely warrior two. Breathing in as we reach the arms over the head, bringing the right leg long, and breathing out, reaching the arms wide, looking over the upturned right palm. Let's do two more. Breathing in and up, firm in the belly, firm in the legs and the feet. Breathing out. Imagine someone's pulling your left arm back a bit. Breathing in and breathing out. From here, we're going to do 3 arches. So drawing your left arm forward to your right arm, and then draw your bow as you aim high with the right hand and draw the left hand back to the jaw. Back to center, legs stay exactly the same. Reaching forward with the left hand, draw your bow open, aim high. Coming back to the center, reaching forward with the left hand, draw your bow open, and back to the center. And then here, we're not going to do our balancing yet. We're going to come up to standing, turn the feet to face to the long end of the mat and take cactus arms for a little bit of surface squatting. So bend your right knee, take the left elbow towards the right knee. You don't have to meet the elbow and the knee together. It's more about the rotation, sticking the bottom out, press through the legs to come back to standing, firm in the belly, and go to the opposite side. So really lengthening your tailbone behind you. We'll do 2 more to each side. Lovely job. Firm in the legs. Firm in that support as you press through the power in the legs. Power, power, power. Lovely. 1 more to the left. Very good. And then coming up to standing, turning both feet towards the right so that the left hip falls to the right side. Falls in towards this way. We're not squaring the hips towards the long edge of the mat, just letting that left hip fall where it will. Reach the right arm up. Use your left hand to move your chest towards the long edge of the mat, and then reach with the right arm over the right leg, reaching up with the left hand at the same time, really firm into the feet, a lift into the belly, and then turning your left palm upwards, coming up to standing, pressing into the feet and reaching the left hand down and the right arm up and over to open that side of the body. And then coming back to standing, we're going to bring the left arm forward. So the hips now rotate almost fully to look at this short edge of the mat. And here is where we're going to add our balances. So we're going to do a flying warrior or warrior 3 variation, and a standing twisted dancer, a running man, and then we're going to step back, okay? Slightly different from last night, Lindsay. So reaching the arms forward, just getting a bit buoyant on that back leg, transferring the weight into the front leg to come into a warrior 3 variation, lifting through that left heel, and then bringing the left leg forward, bending the arms, bending the left knee, bringing the right elbow towards the left knee, and then here into the running man. So keep the left leg bent, bending the right knee, rotate the opposite way, and bring the left elbow to the right knee. And then from here, step the left foot to the floor and cartwheel the arms back to the center. Turn both feet to face to the long end of the mat and take a forward bend to release. So soften the knees as much as you need to. And do a little sway from side to side, maybe a little touch of softness in the knees as you do, or supporting the upper body with the hands on the floor or holding elbow to elbow. Take a couple of deep breaths, release any tension from the back of the neck if you have it there, a little nod, a little shake. And when you're ready, you can bend your knees deeply, press through the feet, roll through the spine to come up to standing. Great job. That's our first side done. Let's turn the right foot to the right, nice and buoyant on the legs. Step the left foot to meet it in Tadasana. And we'll take a moment here in Tadasana just to allow the body to come back to center, to contain all of that energy that's been stirred up. Softening particularly your jaw, your shoulders, your forehead. Let's do the same thing to the other side. So turning the palms of the hands forward, breathing in, firm belly, firm buttocks, reaching up. And as you breathe out, bring the palms together, soften the knees and fold into your forward bend. Here, hands onto the shins on this round, lifting the chest forward, long arms, long legs. Feel that you're scooping the belly in to create that length down the back of the body, and then folding over the legs again. Bend the knees deeply, drop the bottom towards the heels, let the fingertips graze the mat as you sit into your deep chair. We'll do a little bounce on this side as well, so slow motion bouncing up and down a couple of times. And then taking the weight onto the right foot, and when you're ready, stepping the left leg back for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Press through the right foot to come up to standing for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then just turning the hips, firming the left heel into the mat, lengthening both arms, both legs. Here we're going to do 3 of our twists and cartwheels. So bending the right knee, coming onto the ball of the left foot, pressing the left hand across the body, reaching the right hand behind you, and then firm in the belly to cartwheel the arms back to the center and take your goddess. Maybe do a little bit of shifting of the weight from side to side as you choose. Turn your feet to the right, long arms, long legs. Bend the right knee onto the ball of the left foot, pressing the left hand across the body, reaching behind you with the right hand, and then firm in the belly to cartwheel the arms back to the center. Take a goddess or a whole stance and shift your weight from side to side. Turning the feet to the right again, long arms, long legs. Bend the right knee onto the ball of the left foot, pressing the left hand across the body, and then cartwheeling through the arms to come back to the center. And this time, right arm over left arm to hold onto the shoulders. Deep breath in and out. And then if you want to, bring the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands towards each other. Let's take a circle in each direction, just a single circle, just doing whatever feels good in your body right now. Doesn't have to be much. Coming back to the center, reaching the arms wide, turning out the right leg, turning the right heel, turning the left toes to the left. So we're in our warrior 2 pose, and then breathing in as we lengthen through both arms and both legs. You can even look up here, breathing out, press into that back foot, open the arms wide. Imagine someone's pulling your right arm back. Breathing in and up. Breathing out, bending into that left knee. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and open. And then 3 of our arches. So bringing that right arm forward to the left arm, and then drawing your bow, lifting the left arm high, drawing the right elbow back behind you and back to the center. Legs stay the same, real firmness in the feet and the buttocks, drawing the bow open. And one last time, bringing the right arm forward, drawing the bow open and back to the center. And then here we're going to turn the left toes forward, the right toes forward, bring ourselves to cactus hands for a few surface squats. So first bending into the left knee, taking the right elbow to the left knee, and then coming back to the center, and then moving to the opposite side. So a little bit side to side. I'm doing a little softer movement on this round because I think I went a bit too deep last round. So that's all good. Take your opportunity to move a little more subtly if you prefer. Very good. And then when you come back to center this time, we're going to turn the feet to the left so that the right hip falls in a little bit. Raise the left arm up and use the right hand to revolve the ribs towards that long edge of the mat. So the right hip is moving towards the left, but the ribs are moving towards the right. And then lengthen over the left leg, taking the right arm up at the same time, drawing the belly muscles in for a deep breath in and out in Trikonasana. There's no weight into this left hand. And then turning your palm to come upright. Keep that movement going, reaching the right arm down and the left arm up to open the chest and come back to center. So here we're moving into our balancing. We're going to bring the right arm forward so that we twist our hips forward and just get a little bit buoyant on that back foot so we can transfer the weight forwards into the left leg, lift into flying warrior pose. And then here, from flying warrior, bending the right knee, bending through the hips, bending the right knee forward and twisting left elbow to right knee. And then from here, coming into our running man. So keeping the right knee bent, the heel up, bending the left knee and taking the right elbow to the left knee. And then from there, stepping the foot back to the floor behind you, cartwheeling the arms back to center, toes pointing forwards. And we're gently going to fold forward into a forward bend from here, bending the knees as much as we need to and doing a little gentle sway from side to side if that feels comfortable. Releasing in any way that feels good to you. And then when you're ready in the center, bending the knees deeply, firming the belly, rounding through the spine to come up to standing. And as you do, just taking a moment, we're going to turn the left foot to the left, nice and bouncy on both knees, and then step both feet to this end of the mat, standing in Tadasana, taking a moment to absorb the effect of our practice, feel the difference between the two sides of the body. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so we've done this standing sequence a few times now over the last few weeks, and I would like to add something to it today. It's a little balance, and it comes through that goddess squat in the middle. And so we balance in tree pose on one side, move through goddess squat, and balance in flying warrior or Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose on the opposite side, and come back again. And you go side to side, transferring the weight, and it's really good practice for this transference of weight and recruiting of our supporting muscles. So we're going to try this. We start in tree at the left edge of our mat. So standing onto the left foot, we're going to take tree pose, any kind of tree pose you like. So I'm going to start with quite a low tree pose. You can place your foot anywhere that's comfortable and finding a point of focus ahead of you, just firming the buttock of the standing leg, firming the foot to the floor and lifting through to the crown of the head so the whole body is tall. Hands at the center of the chest to begin with, and then when you're ready you can reach the arms up and do any kind of movement that feels good. Perhaps make your tree wave if you want to. You don't have to, of course. You can simply hold a tree steady. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot back and turn so that we're in that goddess squat. And we're only here for a moment to help to turn the feet again. So we're transferring weight from the left leg to the right leg, and we're going to bring ourselves into Warrior Three. And then holding Warrior Three just for a moment, we're going to take ourselves back to the goddess, holding only for a moment here to be able to shift on our feet and step our weight into the left foot and come into tree pose at the left edge of the mat. So we're going to do this backwards and forwards just 2 more times. So from tree pose, any kind of tree you like, real lift and length and strength, then stepping back with the right foot coming into your goddess, transferring the weight of the body into the right foot and pressing off the left leg to come into Flying Warrior or Warrior Three. And then stepping back to your goddess, transferring the weight, turning out the left foot first, pressing off the right foot, coming into any kind of tree pose that feels good. You can take some of the more advanced variations if you want to. And then again, we'll do it just 2 more times, stepping back, coming into that goddess pose, turning the right foot and whoop, whoop, she says, launching yourself, not too launchy, in the opposite direction for Warrior Three, and stepping into goddess, turning your foot, stepping to the front of the mat for tree pose. 1 more time, stepping back, working in your own time, transferring the weight. It's amazing what adjustments you can make as you work to increase that stability, those micro movements and adjustments. And then stepping onto both feet, just taking a moment here in Tadasana. Let the body absorb that. Sighing out through the mouth if you need to. I obviously do. And I'm going to move myself to the opposite end of the mat so that I can do the same thing on the other side and still face you guys. If you want to work on the other side of your mat with your back to your screen, that's no problem. So in your own time, taking your weight onto your right foot, coming into any comfortable tree pose. You can start with your hands down in Namaste if you like. Firm the buttock and thigh of the standing leg. Feel that lift through the center of the body. And then if you want to, you can reach your arms up. I like to keep my arms apart because it stops my shoulders from inching up towards my ears. But you can bring your palms together if you like. You can make your tree sway as well if it's comfortable for you to do that. And then from here, we're stepping back with the left foot and just twisting on the mat, finding that goddess pose, and then turning the left foot, pressing off the right foot to come into a Warrior Three. From Warrior Three, stepping back onto the right foot, finding that goddess, turning the right foot and stepping forward, taking tree pose, any tree pose. So 3 more times, backwards and forwards. And now you know what you're doing. Perhaps you're comfortable doing this in your own time. If you want to follow, you can. Woo. Trying to recruit the strength of the body and the stability so that you feel that you have that stability before you move into the new shape. So lengthening back, stepping into your goddess, turning the feet, pressing into that left leg, already feeling that the left leg is strong enough to take all of the weight of the body. Coming back to the right leg. It's not really bouncy, but it feels buoyant. It feels light. I hope this is our last time, but if you need to do another one, I think we end up doing 4. So when you finish doing 4 rounds, stepping into that Tadasana, and don't hurry if you're still going. Taking a moment to rest with both feet on the ground. So both feet on the ground suddenly feels really restful after you've done lots of transferring from one foot to the other. But perhaps the back of the hips is beginning to feel a little bit tired. I know mine is, particularly after the fact that this is the whole week. So let's maybe take our hands onto our hips and do a little stirring of the hips. Very good. If you've got it in you, I've got one more set of balancing balances. But this one takes the hips in the opposite direction. So after you've had a wriggle of your hips in all directions, I will show you what we're going to do next. I think we've done this maybe once before. So for this practice, we're going to take Garudasana. So weight onto the right foot, crossing the left leg over. And it doesn't matter where the left leg crosses to. It could just cross the thighs, or you might wrap the whole foot, the whole leg around, keeping your right leg really nice and bent and buoyant. And we take the hands into Namaste here, because we're not going to complicate it with the arms as well. So from here, stepping the left foot wide, balance in any direction on your right foot, and then transfer your weight onto your left foot, balancing on your left foot, and then wrap your right leg around your left foot, come into your Garudasana, hands together at the center of the chest. Same thing again, you uncurl the arms and the legs, catch a balance with straight limbs, transfer the weight to the opposite side, and then wrap into your eagle pose, hands to the center of the chest. So as you do this, you can go in any direction. You can step in any way that you like, catching your balance with your straight limbs and with your folded arms and legs. So moving from one to the other. There's no particular alignment here. If you want to hold with your legs bent rather than long, you can. You can go any way you like. And you can go as quickly as you like as well. So if this is a bit too slow for you, then you can move in any other way. We'll do one more to each side. She says, woohoo! I think I've actually got to do one more again because I've done an extra one, but it's okay. Feel free to do an extra one, but finish holding your Garudasana on your left leg before standing onto both feet and resting. This here ends the upright portion of our class. So from here, we're going to take a legs up the wall variation. Legs up the wall, it's not a variation, it is legs up the wall for a few moments to settle our pelvises. And then we will move into our winding down counter poses. So bring yourself to your patch of wall and make sure you've got your block handy, because we'll be using that too. So swinging yourself as close to the wall as feels comfortable for your hamstrings. So if you're tight in the back of the body, and it might not be your hamstrings that are tight, but sometimes it feels like it is, then you want to have your bottom a little bit further away from the wall because it's a bit more restful. But if you're happy with your bottom up against the wall, you'll find that that supports the backs of the legs quite nicely as well. So coming into this position, reaching the arms wide, or if you're very comfortable in the shoulders, you might reach the arms over your head. And taking a few deep breaths here. So soften all of the effort from the legs. Let the muscles really relax and release here. They've got nothing to hold up. Let the weight of the legs fall into the pelvis and encourage the low back to make that contact with the floor behind you. If you would like to, you can gently wave your nose from side to side, particularly after the balancing practices. We tend to hold a little bit of tension in the neck of shoulders. Try to release that if you can. And when you're ready, you can bring yourself back to center. Try softening the face, the space between the eyebrows, the tongue, the jaw, the chest. And then this next variation is available if you want it. So if you want to do something a little bit more than legs up the wall, you can take your block, place your feet on the wall, and a little firmness in the belly, and just gently press into the feet to roll the hips up enough that you can place your block underneath the back of the sacrum, the hips, rather than the buttocks or the low back. And then releasing the arms, releasing the hips down, and just feeling that support underneath the back of the body. You can leave your arms over your head if that feels comfortable to you. I find that once my hips are up, I prefer to have my arms down, but you go with whatever suits you. And if you need a drishti point, if you find it more challenging to practice with your eyes closed, then just gazing towards your big toes or the space between them. Remembering that deep breath from the beginning of our class and breathing that deep breath again here. With the gentlest of engagement across the navel as you exhale, releasing that completely as you inhale deeply into the whole of the rib cage. If your hips are up, you've got that space at the bottom of the ribs behind the body as well, trying to access that space with your breath. After your next deep exhalation, just preparing to move. We're going to remove the block first. So if you've got a block, then that's fine. If not, just hang out until we're ready to do the next stage. Pressing the feet into the wall, lifting the hips, and just removing the block, placing it to one side, lengthening your legs again, just feeling the bottom of the back, the middle of the back, taking that contact space against the floor again. And then when you're ready, you can gently bend your knees into your chest, hug them towards you, make any movements that feel good. Perhaps just a gentle rocking from side to side would be nice here. And when you're ready, you can roll to one side, because almost certainly if you've been at the wall, you'll need to readjust yourself to come into space in the center of the mat. or center of your space to prepare for our pigeon poses. So we're going to do pigeon as a release, and you can always do a reclining pigeon if you would like to. But if you want to, you can do that. But if not, coming into hands and knees, or downward facing dog if you want to. So I don't mind which. If you're feeling really energetic, maybe downward facing dog, taking a three-legged dog. But we can do pigeon from hands and knees as well, sliding the left knee forward towards the left hand, and then just sliding the right leg back a little bit. Here, we're going to keep an active pigeon. So the right toes are tucked under, the right knee is on the floor, and the hands are here for supporting. We can just gently rock the hips from side to side. We're trying to find space for this. So we've done an awful lot of engaging the back of the body for support, and now we're trying to wriggle out a little bit more space, create a bit more length there. So after a rocking from side to side, maybe a just gentle bobbing of the knee like an elastic pigeon, like our lunges earlier. And you can be more upright for this if you prefer. I find that pinches my back a little bit, so I prefer to be a little bit more forward, whichever works for you. And then when you find a space that you're comfortable, you can tuck your back toes flat and either hold upright or fold a little bit more forward. But pigeon is multi-dimensional, so it's often taught this way, but you could fold over your left thigh instead of straight forwards, or you could open yourself towards that space in front of the pelvis towards the right and fold in this direction, or shimmer yourself from side to side in any of these spaces. A little mobilizing of the upper body allows us to find perhaps a touch more length in the back of the body. And if you want to, you can come a bit deeper down. I don't like to over my right leg because it twists my knee in a way that's not comfortable. But if you want to come all the way down to the mat, you can. Trying to find that sense of release in the left buttock, the left hip. And then for anyone who wants to, you can bring yourself upright again to bend in the right leg behind you and catch hold of the right foot. And you can either do that with the left hand, which I seem to prefer on this side, or with the same hand as the foot. So just a gentle opening of the quadricep there. I like to point and flex my toes, or bring my heel a little bit deeper towards the buttocks. And when you're ready, gently releasing and coming back into hands and knees, but extending the left leg behind you and just rolling the foot at the ankle a few times in each direction. I'm going to bring that knee back underneath the body. Take hands and knees. Perhaps you need a bit of a wriggle here. If you do, feel free. Take a couple of cat-cows or do a little bit of stirring. And then practicing to the opposite side, bringing the right knee forward to the right hand, just inching the left leg backwards, keeping the left toes tucked under and the left knee on the ground for a little bit of rocking from side to side to begin with. Using your hands for support or coming a little higher up if you like. That doesn't seem to bother me quite so much on this side. And then some elastic pigeon in the center. So straightening through that back leg and then bending the knee to meet the mat again. When you find the place that feels good for you, you can untuck those toes at the back and then find a place to explore. Perhaps it's over the right thigh. Perhaps it's that space between the two knees in the left side of the pelvis. Perhaps it's directly in front of the body. A little sway from side to side. There are all kinds of variations for pigeon, but if you want to take a twisted pigeon, for example, you can do here. Otherwise, coming forward a little to explore that space in the release of the space across the left buttock. So that's what we're after. You can come a little lower down if you want to, if that feels comfortable to you. Wherever you are, just softening the features of your face. Relaxing your tongue and your jaw. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself more upright if you want to take the quadricep stretch. So you can reach back with either your left hand or your right, holding that leg behind you, maybe bending and flexing at the ankle, bending and flexing, you know what I mean, pointing and flexing, or bringing the heel towards the buttock a little bit more. And then from here back into hands and knees. So we're just going to slide that left knee in, lengthen the right leg out behind us, and rotate the foot at the ankle a few times in each direction. Very good. And then perhaps taking a child's pose here, a wide-kneed child's pose, reaching the arms out in front to bring the forehead towards the floor. A couple of deep breaths here. And perhaps a twist as well. So lifting onto the fingertips of the right hand, sliding the left arm underneath, taking the left side of the head and the shoulder to the floor, and then just relaxing that right arm. Taking a couple of deep breaths, just feeling that space between the shoulder blades widen. And release. Pressing into the right hand to gently draw the left arm back towards you. And then the same thing to the other side, lifting the left arm, sliding the right arm underneath, taking the right side of the head towards the mat. Relaxing the left arm. A couple of deep breaths. And then when you're ready, just lifting a little, coming back to the center. And in the center, perhaps doing a little sway of the upper body from side to side, if that feels good. Perhaps you prefer to bring your knees a bit closer towards each other for a more classic child's pose for a moment. Whenever you're ready, coming onto your back for our final bit of winding down. Maybe you want to have your blanket at the ready for relaxation. So you can have your block ready as well. Today we're going to do a crossed leg twist. So taking the left leg over the right leg as if you were crossing your legs. And then from here with the arms nice and wide from the body, just gently allowing the left knee, hold on. You're going towards left leg crossed over right leg. You're going to the right. There we are. Please excuse me, I've got myself muddled. So allowing your knees to rest down to one side. If your knees don't rest all the way to the floor, you can support your legs with a block or a cushion so that you can get a sense of release as you hold this gentle twist. If you want to, you can reach your left arm up past your left ear. And take a couple of deep breaths. Sliding the arm back to neutral, firming the belly to move, the legs back to the neutral position as well. just uncrossing the legs, and for a moment with the feet apart, swaying the knees from side to side. So after all of the wide leg work, it's really nice to counterpose with things that cross the legs in the other way, that let the hips move in the opposite direction or in another direction. Crossing the right leg over the left, and a little firmness in the belly as you let the knees come over to the left side. If you don't feel stable on the floor, so I do on this side, my right foot touches the floor, it feels great. But if you don't, then using a block underneath the thighs, you can reach the right arm past the right ear, if that's nice. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then when you're ready, firming the belly, bringing the arm and the knees back to a neutral spot, uncrossing the legs, just a little sway of the knees from side to side, not a real twist at all. And then taking your block and placing it underneath your hips again. So just as we did in legs up the wall, supporting the sacrum, just perhaps on a low-ish setting today. Going highish if you want to, of course. You can extend your legs out as well, one at a time or both at the same time, just to open that space at the front of the pelvis. If it feels comfortable, you can reach your arms over your head or simply rest them out to the side, whatever feels good. And taking another couple of deep breaths here, maybe more like 5, softening any effort that you can from the body. Really relaxing in the buttocks and the legs, the belly muscles, the throat, the chest, the face. Whenever you're ready, you gently bring the arms back to a neutral spot. Turn the feet to point upwards and slide the heels in so that the feet are more supporting the back. Take a moment here, this bent leg variation. And then when you're ready, you can lift the buttocks just enough to slide that block out from underneath and let the hips come down to the floor. Bend the knees into the chest if you'd like to, so you don't have to do that. You can simply feel that contact of the hips on the floor. Perhaps that feels like the best release ever. And then bring yourself into any comfortable position for relaxation. So if you want to go back to legs up the wall, you absolutely can. And if you want to, actually, I might take a bolster underneath the backs of the knees today. That would be useful as well for some people. So just choosing a supportive position for the body, using cushions or blankets or bolsters, whatever feels good. And then, particularly if you've got a bolster behind your knees, making sure that your heels are still on the floor. Releasing the arms away from the body, gently swaying the head from one side to the other. Swaying the nose, sorry, from one side to the other. Before bringing yourself back to center, making any adjustments now, and then bringing your body to stillness. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Repeat 3 more times. A deep breath in, let all of your effort go. A deep breath in, let your muscles begin to relax. A deep breath in and surrender down into your mat. Allow your breath to fall back into its natural, spontaneous rhythm and fall away into silence. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften and spread. Feel the area around your eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw releasing. Move your awareness to the back of your body. Allow the whole of the back of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Become aware of the space over you, around you, the touch of air on your face, the sensation of holding space in the palms of the hands. Move your awareness to your breath and gently deepen your breath. Finding that natural, slow, deep rhythm without any kind of tension or gripping or holding. Just releasing and relaxing. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your fingers and toes by wiggling them around. Maybe rolling the wrists, rolling the ankles. In your own time, take a deep breath in and stretch the body. Stretch the arms, the legs, maybe stretch the face if you want. When you feel ready, gathering the knees in towards you, hugging them towards you, making any movements that feel good, perhaps a little rocking from side to side, perhaps a little swaying of the nose from side to side. Whatever works for you best. And then finding your way to one side and just curling up for a moment on your side. And in your own time, coming into any comfortable seated position. We're going to palm the eyes today because it's spring and it's so good for the eyes to do that. So bringing the palms together and rubbing the hands quite vigorously. We're going to take our time today though. So you can press the palms quite firmly together and rub them and just keep rubbing until you feel that warmth building in the palms of the hands. Giving yourself a chance to get the hands really quite warm. And when they're warm, placing the palms over the eyes, feeling that warmth soften and release the area around the eyes, linking into your palms a few times, releasing your hands down as you open your eyes. Thank you for joining in this practice. I don't know if you noticed, but I nearly fell asleep there at the end. I hope you feel very rested by your relaxation too. And I'll see you again soon. Namaste.